Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. How are you doing, guys? Welcome to the Morphosyntax class. My name is still Eric Cornelian, as you know it. And let me give you an overview of what the course is about. This course is an elementary introduction to English morphosyntactic analysis. A large portion will be given to analyzing English words, phrases, clauses, and sentences, although analysis of Indonesian and some other regional languages will be also introduced. This class will begin with some analytical basis for word parts, word classes, and constituent categories. Further emphasis will be put on different kinds of sentences, ranging from simple to complex sentences. Through a variety of homework, assignments, and exams, students will be introduced with the fundamental concept and analytical ways of word and sentence structure. This course will be conducted fully online via Google Classroom and WhatsApp. Now let's move on to the program learning outcomes. So what is expected of you from the standpoint of the study program is one, you have to demonstrate English competence in speaking and writing equivalent to pre-advanced level or equivalent to a test score of 520 in TOEFL or similar tests, and has the ability to apply the competence in a variety of language-related professional work. And then the next one, you have to demonstrate mastery of general concepts, theories, and general methods of linguistics, with an advanced understanding of discourse / text analysis for those opting linguistic enrichment courses. And finally, you have to demonstrate academic integrity, covering honesty, politeness, and responsibility. Now let's move on to course learning outcomes. So what is expected of you more specifically with related to the course is, by the end of the course, you are expected to be able to, one, analyze the categories, constituents, and properties of English words and sentences, to apply contemporary morphological and syntactic approaches in analyzing English words and sentences, and then be responsible with all the written works that you submit, and lastly, you are to be familiar with the course, class requirements, and learning expectations. So moving on to course plan, the first week will be on introduction. So the goal is to help you identify the expectations of the course, and hopefully you know what to expect of you. And then in week 2, we will start talking about morphology. What is morphology? What are some basic properties of morphology? In week 3, we'll talk about words and word formation, what makes up words, assuming that words are made up of smaller parts. And in week 4, we'll talk about morphological processes, so what it takes for some fragments or word parts to make up words. In week 5, we'll talk about the hierarchical structure of derived words. What it means is a word is composed of a hierarchy or structure, and we're talking about complex words, and so it's interesting to see which is embedded in what. And then in week 6, we'll be talking about morphological analysis, how to analyze words. And in week 7, you guys will do a mid-semester review together, just to review all the materials that we've talked about. In week 8, you guys will do the midterm to evaluate what you have mastered. And then in week 9, we'll switch to a different but still related topic, i.e. syntax, the science of sentence formation. In week 10, we'll touch on some basic ideas of syntax. In week 11, we'll talk about syntactic properties, what are the basic concepts behind certain syntactic properties. And in week 12, we'll talk about syntactic constituency. It's an interesting concept, and you guys will know later. And then in week 13, we'll talk about syntactic categories. In week 14, we'll talk about constructing a grammar. And then in week 15, we'll do a semester review. And finally, in week 16, you guys will do the final exam. Alright, moving on to evaluation. As before, I highly appreciate appreciation, which counts 10% toward your final result or final grade. And then assignments and plus quizzes are worth 20%, midterms worth 30%, and finally final exam is worth 40%. So all together they amount to 100%. Okay, grading policy as before, and references. There is one required textbook material you have to get a hold of, and fortunately the electronic file has been made available on Google Classroom, and the file is part of this big group, big book titled Language Files, Materials for an Introduction to Language and Linguistics. That's pretty much it. Thank you so much for your attention and your participation. We'll see you later. Bye-bye. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.